My brother, Selmy Domingo, was from a long-time established Filipino community family. We were all activists. And Jean Varenas was from Eastern Washington. Selmy and Jean were activists in the Union of Democratic Filipinos, the KDP. They came together to work in the KDP and took up the struggle to reform the Alaska Cannery Workers Union. Supreme Court Justice Harry Blackmun compared the conditions in the canneries to one likened to the plantation fields. And as members of the KDP, they were also building a movement here in the United States to withdraw U.S. support for the then Marcos dictatorship and to return the Philippines to a democracy. Selmy and Jean were assassinated in their union hall. They were murdered because they stood at the crossroads of two movements, the anti-dictatorship movement and the labor movement. But when Selmy and Jean were killed, it not only was a political attack, but it was a personal attack. I come from a family of activists, so it really was a family effort to call for justice and to become active in that effort. I was transferred back to Seattle to head up the Committee for Justice for Domingo Varenas. The murders took place on June 1st. On June 21st, we were already ready to call for the formation of the Committee for Justice for Domingo and Varenas at the Union Hall in which they were murdered. I had expected Selmy to walk through the door because, I would always see him at the Union. So it was a strange kind of feeling calling for justice, at the same time expecting him to be there as part of the committee. Because of the massive support in the public to get justice for Selmy and Jean, those movements continued and were able to implement the reforms that Selmy and Jean had spearheaded. The records that I have are very important to me. I've been collecting these documents since 1974 when I first became an activist. I had a flood in my basement. It didn't touch my papers, but I thought, oh my God, what would happen if my papers would have been lost or they had been flooded and wet and couldn't be salvaged? I think I donated 35 to 40 boxes of records. In those boxes are personal mementos of my personal life as well as my family. That's all of me. That's my whole life. It's what I've dedicated my life to, and that's why it was so hard to let it go. I think that the people that I met in the labor archives as well as at the labor center, the Harry Bridges Labor Center, would love my papers as much as I love my papers. So that's when I finally decided to donate.
Oh, sure, yeah, we have those papers. Let me just look it up for you.
When I was told that my papers were the most used papers in the archives, I was not only surprised, but it made me very proud that I had made that donation. It made the donation mean even more than it did before. I think not only has the Labor Archive shown that they will make the papers accessible, but what I've noticed also is that they're very helpful in having people access them and showing them how to access the papers. I think if you have papers or personal things you would like to donate and want them to be kept and used as research, I think you should donate it to the Labor Archives.